Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is June 3rd, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. BC, Washington, Oregon. Glorious sunshine. Look at the snow-capped mountains out there. Very nice days coming up here, and we're not likely to put an end to our dry streak anytime soon, but we will take a look at the weather models. They disagree when that might come to an end on through the extended forecast. This is looking off into Montana. Look at all these clouds moving over the area. There is some excessive rainfall possible for the next 3 days. Tries to creep into Idaho a bit here as well. We'll take a look at those details coming up here in a moment. If you guys want a Tempest weather station, click on the link down below for 10% off here. Highly recommend this weather station. You can see everybody across the area, Washington State area here, and you can actually zoom out and scroll all the way across North America, and you can see everybody that has a station. You can click on these individual stations here, and the more of them out there, the better it gets for the smart sensor algorithm out there. These stations talk to each other. This is my home station here. You can see 14 days ago, last lightning detected. The wind is very accurate. The UV index and solar radiation, the pressure and temperature do very well against much more expensive equipment. And of course, it's all solar, it's all wireless, and it's very easy to set up. Highly recommend that station. Back to the forecast. So you can see across Montana, this conveyor belt just kind of bringing that moisture up there. Upper level low spins here. We've got our trough across some of southeast Alaska and the Gulf of Alaska here, but it's not bringing much in the way of clouds or precipitation to much of the Pacific Northwest here. This is looking at Spokane, Washington. Check this out. Warmest May since 1881, 7.5 degrees above normal. Only 5 days just slightly below average here. And look at that heat wave we had across, mid-May there. Look at the May 20th, 19 degrees above average here. So very impressive May. And that was for much of the Pacific Northwest. You can see Missoula, record May warmth. Butte, very warm. And Kalispell as well. And above average precip across much of Montana also. This is looking at SeaTac, 72. The average high is 69. And yeah, we're not doing any precipitation and probably not coming for the next few days. Again, we'll take a look at that here coming up, but we're going to remain above average here. We're really going to warm up here as we go through the mid portion of this upcoming week. This is day one thunderstorm outlook. You can see Idaho on through the east portions of Montana. And for tomorrow, you'll notice this creeping into the southern Oregon Cascades. Not a huge signal, but there is a potential there in much of Idaho and Montana. Again, as we go through Sunday to Monday morning, this is day one excessive rainfall outlook. And again, all that moisture out there could cause some localized flooding out there across Montana or Idaho. Day two, again for Montana and Idaho, and day three, again for Montana. So this is looking at the NAM3 You can see that thunderstorm activity across Montana and Idaho there. And you kind of see this east to west motion, maybe bring a thunderstorm overnight, early morning for Boise there, but nothing for western Washington, Oregon coming up here. You can kind of see some of this monsoon moisture try to creep across the desert southwest into Nevada and California, but not much help for western Washington or British Columbia here. It could start to encroach on some of the southern zones there for Oregon, however. This is looking at a wider view of things. There's Alaska, BC, Washington, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. There's the Big Ridge over Canada, the troughing that we saw in the mid-level water vapor loop across the Gulf of Alaska. Put that into motion. You can see it weakens and sits over British Columbia. And then we kind of built this ridge here on yesterday afternoon's European run. And that will really warm us up through the mid portion of next week and keep us dry here. You can kind of see the ridging hanging on as we go through the extended forecast if you believe the European model. However, the GFS shows something different. We're going to look at that right now. Pretty similar in the short term, of course. Trough hangs out, weekends, big ridge over Canada. Ridge starts to build over the Pacific Northwest a bit, warms us up to the midweek portion here. And then the GFS, as we go through next week, it wants to drop a trough down over the area. And you can see the European does not agree with that. So it's just something we'll keep in the back of our mind and watch for now. Now taking a look here, this is GFS over the next 10 days. And the takeaway from this is not much over Washington, Western Oregon, Washington, maybe some more, thunderstorm activity, of course, that's going on now is kind of skewing this signal. But we're not looking at big signals for precipitation coming up here for the next 10 days, unless you're Vancouver Island northward across some of the west coast of BC potentially here. But we'll watch this as we go. This is the daily max 2-meter temperature. And you can see for today, mid-70s for Seattle. Look at that upper 70s for Portland. Warming up into the 80s here for eastern Washington. Go through the next few days, and you can clearly see the warming trend as we go through Tuesday. Look at Portland clocking in at 92. And by the time we get towards Wednesday, Seattle could be looking at some upper 80s actually here, and some temperatures could be getting up towards 100 degrees in portions of eastern Washington. You can see the nice warm valleys into British Columbia here, and warm temperatures into the valley of Idaho as well. This is 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook across Pacific Northwest, June 12th. Clearly a bullseye here. 8 to 14 day again. This goes through June 16th. And this is the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook here. And it kind of shows a little bit above average. But the thing is, we don't get much this time of year here, especially across eastern Washington and Oregon. So it's not going to take much to skew this. But you can clearly see that above average signal here across Nevada and Utah here through June 12th. And this is for all the way through June 16th here as well. That above average signal does exist here. We'll watch this as we go. No promises just yet. This was issued May 31st. So June monthly temperature outlook. Look at this. Washington State just, excuse me, in that bullseye there. And the desert Southwest below normal. This is for June here, and it kind of clips eastern Washington, Oregon, and that above average signal across some of Colorado and Wyoming exists as well. But anyway, yeah, get out and enjoy these days here. It's something interesting to watch in the model runs, showing the GFS bringing a trough here as we go through the following weekend, and the European keeping above average heights, which would mean above average temperatures and much drier than normal here across the region. So we'll see which model is going to win out. We'll watch the trends here over the next few days. I am back in Seattle, so I'll be doing my daily briefings, of course. I'm going to do a California weather briefing here next. And if you want a weather station, click on the link down below, and I will be giving more data here coming up. If you are a member, you will be automatically entered into the weather station drawing here coming up in the next few days. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Hope you guys get a chance to get out and enjoy the weather. I just flew back in last night. I may go out again later next week. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.